Okay, yeah, climate changes. We already know that. But the agenda is a lie. And so the reason why they're fighting in this war in Ukraine, if you look at the areas where Russia has captured, it is so rich in rare earth minerals. It is. And those people openly say they want to be part of Russia.
Okay, so it might be one thing if Marjorie Greene were to say, I don't like what Putin and the Russians are doing. I think it's awful. The intentional murder of civilians is terrible, but I am so blindly anti-war that we will just allow it. Like, I don't want us to be involved, so we're not gonna be involved. And yes, that means that Ukraine will be conquered, not just the parts that wanna be Russian, as if that was some sort of settled topic, but all of it. After all, remember, they were trying to circle Kyiv in the first couple of weeks of the invasion. They wanna take over all of Ukraine. That's just a necessary part of us not being involved, so we're not gonna be involved. If she were to say that, that would be one thing. But she wants to have her supposed anti-imperialism and eat it too. Lying about the status of those territories, lying about the territorial ambitions of Russia, seeming to make the claim that because they're going in there for minerals, that makes it better. Something being a resource war doesn't make it more ethical. I don't even understand what point she's trying to make there. So she almost could have a point, but she, of course, muddies it and apologizes for the mass violence, the intentional killing and torture and rape of civilians. And then she wants to make it even more personal. So let's jump into this.
All about money. It is all about money. And it is a scam in so many ways. And you know what happens, guys? It's the government leaders, they don't suffer. Zelensky has a brand new green t-shirt on every single time you see him do an interview. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Does the man not wear any other color? Come on, we're stupid. We understand Hollywood. We're Americans, right? We understand movies and actors.
Okay, so do the political leaders often not suffer in the same way that regular people do? Yes, that's almost certainly true. It also doesn't bother her in the vast majority of cases. After all, I mean, she feels terrible for what happened to the regular insurrectionists on January 6th. She doesn't seem to have a problem with the fact that Donald Trump hightailed it back to his fancy apartment to just watch on TV the violence that he instigated. She seems fine with that. The fact that Donald Trump has a new made in China tie every time he appears doesn't seem to bother her. He's not suffering in the way that regular Americans are. But see, she really betrays herself there. Because again, it would be one thing to just say, I don't want war, so let's not be involved. Or Putin says he's gonna nuke them and I don't want nuclear war, so let's just give him whatever he wants. That would be one thing. But when she has to insult Zelensky's clothing choice, she is not just anti-war, she actively hates the Ukrainian resistance to their own subjugation. It's a personal thing to her. She doesn't just want you to not militarily support Zelensky, she wants you to disdain Zelensky. She wants you to hate Zelensky. And that is a very weird position to take. Jackson?
So I think, first and foremost, I'm sure the audience already knows, but Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't necessarily just say things randomly. She definitely, absolutely is a participant in these online communities where all of these same ideas are circulating. These types of ideas literally drive people to the polls. So she's not isolated in her saying these types of things. And then again, it's also, I have to point out, conservatives are always using things that are not based in reality to define reality. Like, oh, we know Hollywood, we've seen the movies, we know what they do on set because somebody has. What type of shirts is he supposed to have on? Like, is he supposed to come on TV like bruised and battered? Like, what are you talking about? But then, of course, Obama, when he had on, and there's plenty of legitimate things to criticize Obama about. But the tan suit, him using what was it, mustard on a burger or something like that. Yeah. But again, these aren't isolated comments and thoughts. These are things that hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, definitely, if not millions of people, this is circulating people to the polls while they completely ignore everything that actually means something.
Yeah. She has so many followers.
Yeah.
People who look at her and think, not only is she right, but she's great. She's smart, she's wise. I mean, these are How broken do you have to be?
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.